Today, I'm cooking up an orchestral hip-hop beat from scratch, and the finished results sound like this. My name is Reid Stefan, realest puppet in the game, and today I'm cooking up a cinematic orchestral hip-hop beat from start to finish in Ableton 12. I'm using Sonarworks SoundID Voice AI as both a creative tool to get inspired and a sound design tool for my own personal sample pack. Voice AI is an ethical AI-powered plugin that takes your voice and turns it into an entirely different person or musical instrument of your choice. This isn't some brainless prompt where you type in words and get musical results. It requires musical input, but instead of playing your MIDI controller, you use your voice. So let's jump into our session and check out SoundID Voice AI. First, let's get this groove started with a bass line. I love starting my ideas with bass because it kind of helps indicate what the chords and melodies are going to do and what the drums are going to do, and it's all just one note at a time, which is a little easier for my brain to focus on. So let's try a bass line that goes like this. Dum 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 dum. That should get us in the ballpark. Let's try adding voice AI. And let's capture our sample. Dum 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 dum. Oh yeah. Dum 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 dum. Now we get to do the creative part. So let's go to the creative tab and preview some of the instruments that they have here.
This is my voice.
That'd be cool. That could be cool too. You know, I'm not mad at the electric bass either. Probably not going to do slap bass for this one. Let's see what lowers. I could see that working for this too. Let's start with. Oh, that's pretty fat. Let's start processing. Get a copy of this as a glitchy deep bass. Let's take a listen to our sample. Oh, that's not bad. All right, let's try this with a bass guitar. We've already imported our audio sample, and I'm kind of just sample harvesting right now, making my own sample pack, if you will. Let's try the electric bass. And honestly, that's an instrument I've never played before in my life. And this is a great example of how you could use AI to reach new tones and sounds that don't overreach people's privacy, boundaries, or intellectual property. Just clean, easy, simple, and creative. And not only that, it really does a good job of retaining the inflection and natural nuances of your voice as if a hand was playing the instrument. These are things that I normally would have a little bit more hard time recreating with a MIDI keyboard. Let's take a listen to our new bass guitar. I could feel like a buildup leading into a hip hop beat that teases like a drum and bass break feel. Let's see if we could kind of beatbox one in and then convert it to a real drum kit performance that sounds like a drum break that we'd sample. And a 1, 2, 3, and a. And we could just cut the sample in half. Let's hit remove on our old sample, and now let's hit capture. Let's check out some drum kits. That could be the one that we sample. That one already kind of sounds like it'd be like a drum and bass sample. Let's try a couple of these vintage drum sets. Let's start processing and see what we get. You don't have to drag and drop it out of the plugin. You could preview it right here. Or you can go to the process tab and drag and drop your sample onto a new channel. Then we can hit this, double click it, quantize our audio after we warp it, 16th notes. And it's already got a cool glitchy feeling to it. Let's check out our other sample. And then it goes into like the main hip hop beat. And these will be little accents. This will be drum break 2. And let's go ahead and play in some actual chords. We're going to take a break from Voice AI, layer in some MIDI and structure out this track a little bit more, just to fill out the idea with some chords. Let's go super easy and just pull up Nexus in here. They got some good brass sounds that I think are, oh man, right off the bat. Brass stab feels a little disrespectful. Hey. So we're following this chord progression somewhere in F minor. And for these orchestral anthemic hip hop bangers, that's exactly what we're going for. High tempo, big wide sounds. So let's keep building out this section with some more sounds. Here in the Nexus brass, I really like for legato sounds this brass ensemble. Let's try a similar thing with similar MIDI. And a fun trick here in Ableton is the legato button, where if you want to just make block chords out of something really rhythmic that you've played, you could just delete them all like this, but keep the first note of each chord and then press Command A. Legato. Another thing I like about Ableton, once you have your chords locked in and you're just changing the rhythm and timing of stuff, hitting the fold button just shows you the MIDI notes that you really need to see. I'm already filling up the screen with ideas because Voice AI's got us inspired pretty quickly. Let's try and vibe out on a main kick and snare drum for when the beat drops. I want it to feel like dubstep drums, but playing a hip hop pattern. I'm gonna play this with Impulse instrument. I really like Impulse because you could load up a kick, a snare, a hi-hat, and kind of get the gist of your pattern by playing it more hands-on rather than one instrument at a time. And I'm looking for one that doesn't have too much subby tail on it because I already know there's gonna be another subby instrument going on. I just want one with like a sick attack on it. Might just turn the decay down a little bit just to shorten it. I've had a look in this V-dub pack, which, oh yeah. Any of this white noise sizzle is gonna sound sick. But I want this to be pitched up an octave. Let's hit it. Let's see if we can score some good hi-hat loops. Let's check out whole loops, urban beats. Let's do gluten-free loops. There we go. Okay, I'm feeling a few of these, so let's bring in this one and this one. And the hi-hats come back right here. Boom. And we're already getting a structure as we come up with our ideas. I like that. Let's also put like a sweep noise or a riser effect. Let's go to natural spices and effects. Yep. Hey. And now that we have a drum pattern in here, we can actually pull up the compressor and sidechain it to all of our drums at once because they're all on an impulse channel. Hey! I think this beat's ready for a disrespectful 808. Let's hit up drum kits, whole loops, disrespectful 808s volume 5. Oh. God, they're all so disrespectful. I don't know which one to pick. I think this one with like the high squeaky frequency going in on the top, I think I like that one. And let's see what notes we have just coming in from our brass. Let's come here, go up an octave, and let's do... Now, what if you you want a vocal sample singing something over your beat. Let's try singing something in a lower octave that matches my voice, and then I'll pitch it up, and then I'll put it into Voice AI and see if we can turn it into maybe a female singer that we could feature on our beat without actually having to feature another whole other artist person on our track. Something like kind of anthemic. See if we could turn this into like a female vocal sample, and then we'll turn it into like a crowd or maybe wash it out in reverb. Let's see what we get. Let's go back into Voice AI and import this impressive vocal performance. Let me just tune it first. Auto shift before it. Let's try F minor. Let's check out voices.
This is my voice.
A.
This is my voice.
This is my voice.
This is my voice.
So I think just to switch it up, I'm going to find a female vocal just to see how far we can go from the original source.
This is my voice. This is my voice. This is my voice.
Let's go for Sophia. And I'm just going to apologize in advance to Sophia for having her inherit my horrible sense of pitch. But the melody and the idea were there. Let's drag our sample down from the processed folder. Let's get some more going.
This is my voice.
Let's add Keisha in. Since I'm going to use the same source audio to convert to Keisha's voice, we don't have to re-import our sample. We could just click her name and click process, and we're good to go. Processed, and let's drag and drop. Let's hit them with a little bit of reverb to push them further into the background. That'll help get that choir vocal going real quick. Let's try going up another octave. Instead of having like a natural voice, maybe we'll start to get a little bit more unnatural with it. And we'll sidechain this just like the instruments. Almost sounds like a cool synth lead. And I kind of like the pitchiness of what auto shift is doing. I might just add a little RC20 to give it some wobbly wobble. Let's put that after the reverb. I like putting RC20 on reverb tails. And let's copy this RC20 onto this other vocal. So now they're both wobbling the same way. So now I want to make these drum fills feel a little bit more like a sample with some flanger. Let's try the Waves Meta Flanger. It's just my favorite one, even though it's kind of old school and a lot of people don't think it's anything special. I think it is. Let's just turn up the delay, the feedback. Hey. Put on both drum samples. Next, I want to find some brass stabs. So let's try singing in a new sample. We're just going to do like one really hard. I know. Impressive, thank you. I just want this to be like a big brass stab. But let's import this, capture, and go to creative. Oh, this might actually work. Let's start processing this and just see what we get. Hey! Made from this sound. That's pretty sick. So I'm gonna have this be like a stab on the downbeats. And maybe we can even squish it with a little bit of OTT just to get it as in your face as possible. So we've made a bunch of samples from my voice, but what if you're like me and you're a little bit limited as a singer and it's not really your strongest instrument, but you have a whole bunch of vocal samples that you'd love to flip and repurpose into something else? Well, that's exactly where Voice AI becomes extremely useful. Let's find any vocal sample that would work in this key of F minor. Let's actually try a dry one. The plugin will probably work better if we pull the dry version. Let's have a melody like this. Let's try adding Voice AI onto this vocal sample. And let's try turning this vocal sample into, let's try some of these high-pitched strings. Now remember, by default, these samples come out in mono, so it's up to you to process them in some way that makes them feel extra wide. So let's try throwing a ping pong echo, with a low percentage, some reverb on the tails, and then just some hybrid reverb. It's a really great effect for making pads out of stuff. So it did interpret her breath as like a little squeaky violin note. I might just cut that out. Other than that, man, it really just killed it with keeping that human inflection and emotion in the instrument. I never would have been able to play a MIDI melody that complex and like intimate. Let's try pitching it up an octave. Hey! Let's take Voice AI off the Kara sample. And maybe we could start with the string version, and then when the beat drops, it's the actual person. And boom, we're gonna sauce this up with the same hybrid reverb, and I might even bring these echoes in too. Or we can keep this part really hard and then have the pretty stuff happen here. That way we have like an A melody and a B melody. I can already see ESPN just gobbling this beat up. SportsCenter, if you need my banking information, just holla at your puppet. Hey! So there you have a beat made from start to finish in Ableton 12 using the power of Sonarworks SoundID Voice AI. Having a massive menu of singers, musical instruments, drum kits, and synthesizers that can be controlled with your voice is truly a useful tool for any producer or songwriter. I find myself being so much more expressive and free with my voice, whereas playing a MIDI controller feels kind of boxed in or even possibly unattainable to people who don't practice that much. But with my voice, all that natural inflection, breathing, and pitch variation gets retained in your Voice AI sample, and that means everything is completely unique to you. Plus, you can use this plugin with confidence that it's not harvesting your ideas in the background or your identity or training some evil robot to steal your job. It's finally an AI tool for people who just love making music and want to expand their sonic palette beyond their human or puppet voice. If you want to learn more about Sonarworks SoundID Voice AI, visit my link in the descriptions below, plus links to the Whole Loops drum kits, 808s, and Kara vocal sample packs used in this production. And for more, check out my channel for hundreds of useful plugin reviews and beat hookups just like this, and I'll see you in another video.